Who the hell would want to be the next director of the FBI, and how is that going? So John Cornyn has taken his name out of consideration.
Yeah.
Merrick Garland, that was a stupid idea, that Merrick Garland would stoop that low to take that job after the way they handled him last year. He has said, no, forget about it. What do you hear? Where are they going?
Well, I mean, they had some interviews over the weekend. It is difficult to find someone. But, I mean, the other situation here is that Rod Rosenstein, I mess it up every time. He's in a situation where essentially he wrote this memo that says that the FBI isn't going to be able to regain public trust and congressional trust until it has a director who basically acknowledges that the FBI mishandled the rollout of the Clinton investigation. That puts the administration in sort of an awkward spot because he's involved very. He's a key player along with Jeff Sessions in deciding who the new FBI director is. And if he picks someone who is going to go up and say, a Republican, who a lot of Republicans are on the record saying that the FBI went too light on Hillary Clinton. If he picks someone in that scenario, I mean, the hypocrite charge is just like too easy to make. So I don't think that he can pick someone who believes that it was fine, that the FBI was fine what Jim Comey did.
Well, it raises two questions. First of all, why did Rosenstein write that memo in the first place? I mean, giving them the fig leaf that they discarded the next day anyhow. I
think he did believe it, and there are hints of that in his testimony. I mean, it completely goes against what the real reason for the firing. But I think what he wrote in the actual memo, he honestly believes because
that Comey violated procedures, if you will,
which he did. I mean, there's no arguing there.
Which I do. I believe he did. But that's not why the White House wanted him out of there.
Right. But it was a handy excuse. But I mean, you look back at
gave them that phony excuse again. Maybe to his relief, after they tried to blame it on him for one day, the next day they finally said, "No, we didn't like him. He was a showboat," or grandstanding and that Russian thing. That's why we fired him.
Right. I mean, I think the memo did, in terms of public and congressional trust, that actually was probably kind of true. That it was going to be tough for them to regain, the trust. Certainly, I mean, but on the other hand, if they come out and say no, we mishandled the Clinton investigation in terms of the rollout, like we should have went softer on it, that they're not going to regain the other half of public and congressional trust. Really.
And why does Jeff Sessions have anything to do with why should he with the firing of one FBI director and the hiring of a new one when he personally said he recused himself from anything having to do with the Russian investigation?
I think the argument would be that that the FBI director's job goes far beyond the Russian investigation, and it does. So that's sort of one of those tough calls. It's
We're talking about a fig leaf.
Yeah, on the line a little bit there, but I mean, the FBI director does a lot of things that will go beyond this, and this is going to be a 10-year term that we're basically setting the reset button, and whoever Donald Trump picks is going to be in there for the next decade.
But Jeff Sessions did say, I will have nothing to do with this Russian investigation because I met with Kislyak on a couple of occasions, and now to fire the guy who's in charge of the investigation and then to hire the guy who will be ostensibly the new head of the investigation, certainly, I think, crosses a line.
Yeah, and one of the real questions to me also is that, now that we know this memo, the timing for that came out after Jeff Sessions was confirmed as Attorney General, but before he had formally recused. So a big question to me is, did he receive a copy of that memo? Not clear from the Times reporting so far. So, I mean, that's a big question there, and I think that could play into sort of what role he's going to play going forward.